I smoke a lot of weed. Like a lot. A lot. And
Boom, boom. Boom, boom.
so I go to that place of kind of low resistance, and then I relax, and I be lazy, and I took those pieces of advice that I loved from you before, which said just allow it to happen and stay back and watch, and then it'll come to you. And now I think I'm gone so far in least resistant that I'm actually resisting again from not doing anything. I'm not having that.
Well, here's the thing.
Drive.
This is an important thing to understand. When you want something and your vibrational patterns have been opposing it, you can develop a pattern of vibration that actually makes you feel paralyzed. Your mind is saying, I want to do it. Your mind is saying, I need to do it. Your mind is saying, I should do it. But you can't move. You just feel paralyzed. So we want you to just relax into that and say things, all of you, and say things to yourself like, when the timing is right, I'll feel it. When the momentum is right, my feeling of responding will be clear to me. And in the meantime, everything's all right. Because look at it this way, and you could apply this to anything that you want. Let's say that here's you on your way to a rendezvous point with something you want. Maybe it's a lover. That's easier to see because it's another person that you can see making their way to the rendezvous point. Maybe it's financial abundance. Maybe it's creative success. Maybe it's creative flow, just rendezvousing with the inspiration for some musical piece. So you're on your way to some rendezvous point, and you're all determined, like you used to be, to just do whatever it takes to get there. So you just keep rushing to the place, but nobody rendezvous with you. That's happening to you a lot. You're giving it everything you've got with all of your effort and energy and action, all of your effort, that physical energy, effort, action. So you keep showing up, just like they said, if you show up, then it'll work this way. If you do this, if you jump through these hoops, if you do this and this and this and this and this and this, then these wonderful things will happen. So you keep showing up at what you think is the rendezvous point, but the money doesn't meet you there, the lover doesn't meet you there, the other doesn't meet you there. And the reason for that, hear this, we so want you to hear this, the reason is because your timing was off. It's a rendezvous point. It's not a point where it goes there and stays there forevermore waiting for you. It's a rendezvous point. Are you getting what we're talking about? You're rendezvousing with this, you see. And so timing is really an important thing. And timing, you know this from your creative musical work, timing is inspired every single time. Timing is inspired. So if you're agitated, your timing's off. If you're irritated, your timing's off. If you're going to wrestle it to the ground and kill it, your timing is off. If you're just going to make it happen because you're just used to making things happen, your timing is off. You want to be in that relaxed state where ideas flow easily into your mind. And in exactly the same way that those musical concepts occur to you, and you know them when you get them, and then you easily translate them into something that is tangible and audible. In exactly the same way, the impulses about everything else, the business aspect of your life's work, will occur to you in just that same way. But these are the things you got to stop doing. You got to stop beating up on yourself. But we can't tell anybody to stop doing something, because this is not a universe where you can exclude anything. It's a universe where you have to include something else. So you have to give yourself a break. You know what's happening? Esther calls it her monkey mind. What happens is your mind that wants to be active all the time, that law of attraction's response to thoughts. What's happening is, in not rendezvousing exactly where you want to rendezvous, you're trying to figure out why you're not rendezvousing. You're trying to place blame on the industry, or place blame on yourself, or you're trying to figure out all of the reasons why not. And that just keeps momentum going.
Thinking too much, yeah.
Thinking way too much. Yeah. So if we could convince all of you today to just try it for a little while, feel your way places rather than think your way places. Feel how it feels when you are in that flow of music. Feel how that feels. Feel how it feels when everything's in alignment for you. It may feel to some of you like we're taking too much time with the first person in the chair. We want you to understand that this is the seminar that we want to give all day, every day. Because every one of you have things that you want, that you're wanting to make your way to, and you're making your way to them, for the most part, as humans, with actions and words, rather than with vibrations and centeredness. So, we've been talking to you, with you, in lots of different ways about how to find that place. But the bottom line is, if you're worried about something, you've got yourself in a vibrational holding pattern. Esther was flying into Stamford, Connecticut last weekend. And there was some airline delays and so forth. And so she was diverted to another airline and to another airport into LaGuardia, because there was weather, and there was weather in LaGuardia. And so the captain said, we're in a holding pattern over Baltimore. And so it was still a beautiful day. The sun was just setting. Esther had a window seat, and she was just so enjoying what she was seeing out the window in this holding pattern. A part of her wanted to be frustrated because she wanted to be underway. She knew that the people were here waiting for her with equipment that was essential to the setup. She wanted to be there. She wanted to be there to keep her commitment to those who were waiting, but she had no choice. She couldn't get off the airplane. So she could sit there and feel frustrated, or she could relax into the holding pattern. She could make the best of the holding pattern. So there's a woman sitting next to her, and she said, they hadn't been talking. Both of them had been working and doing other things. And Esther is looking out the window, and her new friend looked out the window and saw how beautiful it was. Clouds, and lots of clouds. They were above the clouds, and the sun was above the clouds. You probably figured that out, shining. It was really beautiful. And the sun was about to set. And Esther said, have you heard about the green flash? And the woman said, what is that? And Esther said, well, sometimes when the atmospheric conditions are perfect, as the sun just drops beneath the horizon, sometimes there's a green flash. Esther says, I've looked for it hundreds of times, and I've seen it twice. But I always look when the situation is right. So Esther said, let's look. And then, green flash. And Esther thought, this holding pattern's not so bad. This is not such a bad holding pattern. In other words, the universe is still yielding lovely life to me, lovely new friend to me, lovely experience to me. I'm not going exactly where I thought I wanted to go, because I really want to be on the ground by now, long ago on the ground by now, long ago at the hotel by now. Instead, I'm over Baltimore in a holding pattern, living happily ever after over Baltimore. So then there's another piece to this that we want to explain, and that is, how long can we remain over Baltimore? And then the pilot said, we don't have enough fuel, folks, to remain in this holding pattern much longer. And Esther thought, well, there it is. It's coming into focus. We don't have enough fuel to remain in the holding pattern, so something's going to give. And then he came right back and said, we've been cleared for our approach into LaGuardia. And Esther thought, that's always the way, isn't it? In other words, some other factor comes in that causes the focus to be a little stronger. And if you have been in a holding pattern where your resistance has been dissipated, then the desire is the dominant thing. You get what we're talking about? You get the analogy? That desire to be on that ground by the captain, by the crew, by the air traffic control, everyone knew it was not a viable solution for them to just stay in that holding pattern forevermore. And that's what's got you frustrated. You keep holding yourself in a holding pattern because you haven't done the only thing that matters, which is release your own tension by just relaxing into what is and making the best of it. There are no more important words that will ever be said about anything. Just relax into where you are and make the best of it. Find the best feeling that you can. Feel the relief of that. Feel the release of it. And then air traffic control will give you the impulse for you to proceed on your approach into the landing that you're looking for.
Yeah, I'm ready to land.
Yeah. Well, don't worry about it. Everything's good for you. We enjoyed this.
I'm going to enjoy the holding pattern.
Yeah. Yeah.
Until something just kind of moves me to that place.
Yeah. And while you're in it, don't smoke marijuana the whole time.
Don't smoke me the whole time. Yeah.
If that's the only conversation that we ever had, it would be enough.